The authorities were able to use that footage to narrow down the search area and almost pinpoint the exact location of Gabby's body on September 19th, 2021. Jenn Bethune helped close a case that might otherwise be unsolved as we speak tonight, and she's kind enough to join me now. Jenn, I have so looked forward to an opportunity to speak with you. First and foremost, to say thank you for doing what you did. You really were the linchpin in this case. When people say social media helped solve the case, it's an understatement what you did, so thank you. But also, how does it feel that you really did make a huge difference in redirecting the FBI to look somewhere else because they had their timeline and their location wrong?
Yeah, it was wild. I've always maintained that everyone had a piece to the puzzle. We just had to put them all together. And this happened to be a puzzle piece that we discovered by a whim. And it's one of those experiences that I'm so grateful we were at the right place at the right time.
It's a very frantic thing to be a non-television person, a non-media person, suddenly to have the whole media world knocking on your door, trying to find you, trying to get you to talk while you're in the middle, literally, of a police investigation. But you've had now 3.5 years to sort of settle and think about everything that you've been through. Tell me a little bit about where your thoughts are and how you've processed all of this.
Oh my goodness. It has been such a beautifully hard blessing. We've been able to learn so much. We've gotten close with Gabby's family, and they're just some of the most incredible people. In fact, I got to go for her service. And when I went, I had this beautiful serendipitous day. And I actually got to let go 10 years of grief of losing my own child. And so, it was a horrible, horrible circumstances. And I think all the way around, it's been beautiful to get to know their family.
I want to talk a little bit about that, because even people who've watched this series on Netflix or followed every machination of the story might not know about that personal struggle that you went through and the really serendipitous thing that happened on your late son's 17th birthday. Can you tell me that story?
Yeah, it was totally random that we ended up at Bridger Teton anyway. We went on a whim. We asked some friends that morning. We were like, hey, where should we go? And they said, you need to go camp in Spread Creek. And on the way there, we had a breakdown. Our bus wouldn't shift. And so my husband had to get under it, and he figured that it was a shifting linkage. And he's like, there is no way we have this part. It's a very random part to have. And so I said, hang on. And I went up to our toolbox. And when I did, lo and behold, what is sitting in the top? A spare shifting linkage. And so it delayed us by a couple hours, but we were able to get back on our way. And when we first went into the Tetons, we were pulling into Spread Creek, and my husband has GoPros that record in the front and record in the back. And he had finished talking. And usually GoPros, the batteries don't last very long at all. And these stayed on just long enough to be able to capture the footage of her van. And I found it on what would have been our son's 17th birthday.
It must have felt like a sign. It must have felt extraordinary that you share in a similar kind of grief as the Petitos. You can empathize with them. By the way, what was that like when you first met them?
Oh, gosh. Well, the morning of finding the footage, Kyle came back to our bedroom and he said, Jen, Nicole emailed you. And I was like, oh my gosh, please don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. And she asked me to call her, and we just had such a beautiful conversation. And I said, what do you need me to do? I will do anything for you. And she said, I need you to go on every news station imaginable and do every interview you can so we can find her. And that's what I did. I remember driving through Fargo, North Dakota. It is rainy and nasty, and I'm doing several different national news interviews while my bus is rolling down the road. So it was quite the experience.
Well, I hope your Fargo trip was in the summer, because I'm from north of there, and today I think it was like -20, and it was a nice balmy day.
Yeah,
listen,
nice and warm, right?
Good. Well, I'm glad. Again, I don't really recommend it in February, although it is still beautiful. Jenn Bethune, thank you so much, not only for what you did, but for sharing, and also just for being a joyous person. I really appreciate your insight into this.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.